Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Conversion Icons. Today, I have Emmon Khab with us, who's going to be talking about how he built his e-commerce business. The guy is definitely going places, doing a lot of awesome things, and I'm excited to have him here to share with us how he went from working as an accountant to now running several e-commerce businesses and has even achieved over $50,000 a day in sales, and how anybody can do it with any background. Welcome on the show. How are you doing today?
Doing awesome, man. Thank you for having me, and it's rock and rolling.
Awesome. Well, we had a chance to connect before the show. For some of the VIPs, you'll be able to get some of the show notes and things we discussed. And I really want to be able to start off with, first, tell us a little bit about yourself and how did you get into this career of e-commerce?
Yeah, totally, man. I had a pretty interesting background transition into digital marketing. I started off in the accounting finance fields. I graduated from Ohio State with an accounting finance degree, and I got into kind of like the management consulting routes, where I was working for a lot of banks and accounting firms, private equity firms, and I used to go out, travel about 30 weeks a year for about 13 years, spending time living out of hotels and going to the headquarters of all these companies all across North America, doing like due diligence, financial analysis on these companies. And I spent time on probably a little over 500 private and public companies, learned a lot about business from e-commerce to pharmaceuticals, manufacturing, technology, agriculture, just looking at the different business models. And during my time there, like the businesses I saw that were accelerating from 0 to 100 the fastest were like online, like digital marketing, e-commerce businesses. And at the time, I had all these like really cool ideas, and I just didn't know how to market them properly. So I was like, well, I have this awesome idea, but like, how do I get people to know about it? So like, I literally took all my ideas and I put them back on the shelf. I'm like, I need to learn digital marketing. So I was in a position about 6 years ago when my dad got really sick. He had actually been diagnosed with ALS disease, and I was working at a consulting company back then, and they wanted me to travel for work, and I just couldn't travel, And one thing led to another, and I got to argument with them. They didn't like my tone. Ended up being fired actually from this consulting job. It's pretty rough, And during that time, it kind of made me realize that I just can't rely on somebody else for a paycheck. I need to kind of write my own ticket. And, during that year, I used to drop my mom off at a hospital where my dad was, and spend about 13, 15 hours a day at a nearby Starbucks and studying, learning about digital marketing, e-commerce, Facebook ads, Shopify, email marketing, everything I could get my hands on, any course, any free, resource out there. I even took a Ty Lopez course, 67 Steps, and 4 Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss, and learn about these, little gold nuggets. Not everything was gold. Like whenever you take a course or a book, I would say a bulk of it will probably be a little bit, like a lot of dirt. But you just 2, 3, 4, 5 gold nuggets that you are able to take away from that resource can literally kind of have, a big impact on your mindset. So I started studying digital marketing. First year, I probably lost a little bit of money, but like it just I learned so much. And then the second year, things started taking off a little bit more, and I started kind of dialing things in, and I was able to take a store and get it to like about $400,000. And it was a very interesting store. It was actually like a Viking store, which I was able to scale from 0 to $400,000 within like less than 6 months. And then yeah, so since then, man, I've launched an agency. I've had a ton of stores. I've done some e-commerce coaching, and here I am right now.
That's awesome. So, when you said you invested a little bit of money, how much did you invest in your education when you first started?
Oh man, I was buying any course. I think I bought like an Ezra Firestone course, which is like $3,000. I think I probably spent about, I want to say 15, $20,000 a year on just some courses. Just trying to absorb any information I can, and watching YouTube videos. But yeah, I mean, it was like at the time being unemployed, $15,000, 15, 25, $20,000 was a lot of money.
It, it is, but and when I talk to people and they're like, well, I've taken all the courses, and I ask them, what courses have you taken? They said, well, I watched most of the YouTube courses, or I got a lot of the free content from all the known celebrities. Truth be told, not the best material is in that. There's oftentimes misinformation in there.
Mhm.
And when you start investing in yourself, that's truly when you can actually get the information that is impactable that you can use in your business. And there's an old saying that says, when you pay attention. And
Mhm.
I know when I had to spend my last $3,000 on a Dan Kennedy course when I was in college, that was like a life savings because it literally was. And because of that, I made a serious decision that I'm going to actually take this information and actually do something with it.
Mhm.
And you've probably realized in your own life, and with people you've talked about, the ones who actually invest money in their education are actually the ones that get the biggest results. And sometimes you have to do that when you have nothing. You have to put it on the credit card, like we've all done,
Mhm.
right? And that is really what's going to be the difference between having the ability to get the results you want and the ones that just talk about it. What are you willing to invest and what are you willing to take action on?
Absolutely.
So within 2 years of starting, you developed a store that you said made over 400,000. Is that right?
Mhm.
And so is 400,000 in gross sales or in profit?
$400,000 in those gross sales. Profits, I would say, are around like 20 to 25% on that store. But that was literally such a big like life changer. I mean, having like that much money come in and just from like selling stuff online is pretty crazy.
It is. And like, I mean, even if it was 25%, I mean, that means you made probably 80K in profit, let's say, something
Yeah.
down there. So you made on your own terms instead of having to listen to your boss tell you when to come, when to leave, where you can go. Now you're making money. After sacrificing for 2 years, you've actually made enough that is actually more than most people's salary in the United States. So tell me about the sacrifices you made. I mean, it sounds like you were going through a very challenging period in your life, but you decided to choose family over money and you made some hard decisions.
Yeah, man, it was a rough year, man. That year, like I said, my dad was admitted to the hospital, and he didn't go come home for a year. And ultimately he passed away the next year.
Mm.
It's a pretty rough time, and during that time, I mean, it was just dropping my mom off. And my mom is a traditional military woman. She never learned how to drive. My dad always supported her. He took her out to places. So now the responsibility was upon me. And I knew like my dad was going to pass away ultimately, and I knew like the responsibility of my mom and was going to be upon me, and I also knew that like if I get married and have kids in the future, that this 8 to 5 income wasn't going to support it. And I had a mindset of like, hey, somebody comes up to me like, Evan, we'll pay you 6 figures per year. I'm like, okay, so you're telling me like a whole year worth of my life is worth 6 figures to you, and I just find that disrespectful. I'm like, my time is worth millions. So like, once you get into the mindset of like, well, you can't like have anybody else control your time and monetize your time, and you have to put value on your own time. That you kind of have like that mental shift where you're like, okay, now I'm just going to work on creating my own systems, and have a system work on it on their own where they're able to kind of give me money and provide money and kind of generate money for me 24/7. So, and I saw that with e-commerce. So that's why I got into it, 6 years ago. And that year was super rough. Like I said, I was eating like ramen noodle and just trying to save as much money as possible. And any way I can save money and like take a little bit of money. I started doing like a little like freelance project on the side, a bunch of like random stuff, just so I can earn a little bit of money and put into Facebook ads and test stuff. And
Yeah.
I would lose it, and then I would find a little more money on the side and put into Facebook ads again, and like just kind of test and continuously tweak stuff. So I'm kind of like having that mindset of like just having like a perseverance, that grit to kind of push through things. And like I believe that if you push through things, ultimately you will get the result that you want. But like a lot of people would just quit too early, unfortunately.
So what do you think stops people from, let's say they bought a course on e-commerce, they went through it, they found maybe some products that they wanted. They started a Shopify store. They got everything ready. They built a Facebook group. They started developing content. They pushed it out there. Now they got people. They're making some pitches, but their e-commerce store isn't doing good. What do you think is the difference between a successful store and one that is just mediocre?
I think a lot of it has to do with the mindset too. Quite frankly, a lot of people go into the business and they just have the mindset that going from like 0 to 1 million because they see other people do it. It's just like that easy. It's like I tell people you need like a couple of $1,000, like $2,000-3,000 to start get into drop shipping, just to test products and see which products work, and then you can scale those products out too. But I think a lot of people get into the business for wrong reasons. They want that instant gratification, but they don't realize like a traditional business, brick and mortar, like takes like 6 to 7 figures just to start off. It's a pretty like massive investment, and it takes you like years just to break even. So people get to e-commerce, and the first sign that something doesn't work, the product doesn't work, they literally just say they fold like a really cheap chair and they give up and like, oh, it doesn't work, it's a scam, and they start saying all these horrible things about stuff. It's just like that approach didn't work, maybe that product didn't work, maybe that audience you were testing away didn't work. There's so many different factors and variables are involved that like if you just quit at the first sign of failure, it just like I don't think e-commerce is probably not for you. I think any business is probably not for you. So pushing through that and be like, okay, it didn't work for me. Like, what did I do wrong? It's a learning experience. It's not a failure. It's more like a learning experience where, okay, it didn't work. So let me pivot and test and tweak a couple more things to figure out like why it's not working, and having like that mindset, like that kind of curiosity of like why it didn't work instead of like, hey, it didn't work. Like, let me just quit and start all over again. So I think the kind of like the mindset that plays like a very crucial factor in a very successful and not successful store.
So with that mindset, how do you know if a time to throw in the towel and test another product? Right. So do you just keep on throwing, thousands of dollars on an ad? How do you know what the metrics are? What are you using to evaluate if you're heading in the right direction?
Yeah, man. I believe in something called the minimal viable product (MVP). When we test products, I think about $100 to $200 is more than enough to test a product. The set up a campaign, and some of the metrics we look for. High level, it's basically ad spend and the ROAS. If you're putting this much money in, how much money are you getting out of it? And on a very high level, that's the most important metric that matters. But then I would say within 24 to 48 hours of like launching a product, and you spend about 100 to $200, the metrics should tell you if the product is a winner or not. Looking at the CTR click-through rates, I look for minimum CTR click-through rates of at least 1.5 to 2%. Looking at CPMs, if CPM is pretty reasonable, $10 to $20. Is a cost per click CPC reasonable, below $1.50, around $1? So it kind of gives me like it's almost like like a healthy pulse on that product and that campaign to see, okay, there's some healthy metrics for this product that we can potentially take this product and start putting a little more money into it. So if you don't like put money into it blindly into a black hole for like $1,000 hoping it's going to come out, within a $250, we know right away that the product's going to be a wire product. We want to move to the next stage as far as putting more money into it. So if I'm putting $1 in, I want like $2-3 to come back out of it within like the first $100 to $200 ad spend.
Got it. So you're spending $100. So you're looking at those metrics, and if you see, let's say, a high click-through rate, but you're not seeing a lot of purchases, are you also then testing different ads at the start, or are you working with one ad and then working on the pages?
Yeah, so the page, we don't really like create new pages. We'll have like the initial page. It's more, we'll test different audiences. So again, the initial campaign will have anywhere from 25 to 50 different interest audiences. We're trying to see which one is going to stick. If you get like 60% of those interests, like generating like good metrics, that means like something going on here. So having like the, you might have like awesome click through, but then like you might have sales. Well, like, okay, well, the ad is engaging enough. Something in the ad is intriguing people to click on the ad and actually then click obviously to your website. But then you go to a website, then like, okay, people are clicking through the website. You're getting a lot of people viewing the product page, but then it's dropping off, not any add to carts or purchases. So then you look into the next level. Okay, well, how's my page? Is the product page look good? Is the pricing of the product good? So we'll start playing with our pricing. I would say doing e-commerce or drop shipping is almost you're like a scientist in the lab. You're basically testing and tweaking things to
Yeah.
see what's working, what's not working. So you might have like, like the video might be awesome, the targeting may be awesome, but then like I said, your, the metrics kind of drop off on you to the product page. Something's wrong on the product page. Then the pricing, you have to play with our pricing. Maybe you need to, fix a product page. So it just kind of depends on each step. So like we'd really play testing and tweaking things in different areas to see what's gonna stick, what's not gonna stick, what's not working.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when you are talking about audience size, how big of an audience are you starting with?
So on our campaigns, which especially like pertaining to Facebook, we do a lot of single interest ad sets. So we'll have like a campaign, say a CBO budget of $250. Um, we'll have about 50 interests in there. So 50 ad sets. Each ad set was going to have a single interest. And its interest size, I would say traditionally we want to be at least the lowest I will go is 500,000, but traditionally like a million plus. Over the years, Facebook's gotten smarter and smarter. So even if you have a big interest size, the audience size is big, Facebook is actually pretty quickly able to figure out if that product, that ad you're trying to use people is resonating with that audience pretty fast.
Okay, so between half a million to a million audience size, you are doing. I think you said what 10 to 15 interests.
Well, about 50 interests. So the audience, the interest size, I would say a million plus. So it could be a million up to like even 30, 40 million. I have been audience sizes that are 30, 40 million even big.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, a lot of people say the sweet spot is about a million, one to 2 million. But why have you decided on some products to do a much wider audience?
Wait, I'll say it one more time.
So a lot of e-commerce people have been saying, like, don't go less than a million audience, maximum 2 million. Is there a reason on some products that you've gone up to, let's say 35 million and larger audiences?
Yeah, so we do a mix of audiences. It's like we're gonna throw a lot of stuff at the wall and see what's going to stick. So we'll do like the small interests, narrow interests, and also like broad interests too. So we'll do some indirect interests. So we're trying to see which interests are going to stick against the wall. So we'll kind of across the board, some narrow ones, some broad ones, some intersected audiences. So it just depends.
All running the same ad.
All running. So we'll have about 2 to 3 ads within each ad set, and you can literally have the exact same ad duplicated like 2 or 3 times. So you'll have maybe 2 or 3 ads within the ad set. So what happens is with Facebook, even if you have the exact same ad, say you have an audience size of like say a million or 2 million or 5 million people. What's gonna happen is each one of those ads will show to different sections within that big audience. If you just had that one ad in there, it'll show right here. But then if you have like 2, 3 ads in there, it'll show over here, it'll show over here, and it'll show over here within that big audience. So you kind of reach different segments within that audience.
Got it. And are you doing only in-stream ads, or are you doing ads, messenger ads in different places?
We used to split up. I would say probably a year and a half ago. We'll do like mobile only, Facebook mobile feed and Instagram mobile feed. But again, Facebook's got smarter over the years. So like now we do a lot of just auto placements. We let Facebook decide, and then Facebook knows the best. Facebook knows more than us. So we let Facebook decide which placements it thinks is the best placement as far as trying to get purchases and clicks and all that kind of stuff. So we do auto placement, and then after we figure out where we're getting sales from and clicks to, they'll start kind of narrowing down and kind of focusing in those areas.
Smart. So you do auto placement, and then you start seeing where it's the breakdown, and then you're gonna make campaigns and ads specifically for those places. Okay, cool.
Correct. Yes.
So let's talk about fulfillment. So one of the things that people most dislike about drop shipping is if you have a large budget and you've tested a product, you can definitely buy from Alibaba and have it shipped to you so you can control the shipping, right? You can use a fulfillment house to do the shipping. And the other scenario, if you're just starting out, you can do AliExpress, and AliExpress can send one-off products. Now, the disadvantage with AliExpress is it comes in a manila envelope, most likely, if that's an option. And it takes sometimes 3 to 4 weeks to get there, sometimes with Chinese writing on it, and sometimes not with your own brand on the label. So how do you best deal with that? And how do you best deal with customers that may be surprised when it takes that long, or may not come in professional packaging?
Yeah, man. Amazon's really like spoiled. A lot of people they expect like same day shipping, next day shipping. So when you get a product, it takes like 2, 3, 4 weeks to arrive. Obviously, like not everybody's gonna happy. So you kind of like the dropshipping model is kind of expected. You're gonna have like a percentage. I would say like 4 to 6% of people are gonna complain about stuff, shipping, and want refunds, things like that too. So that's kind of like literally built into our financial model. It's kind of expected, but decent amount of people will be okay with it. Surprisingly, if you look at Wish, for example, all Wish's stuff is actually dropship. People don't know that. They get 100 million visitors a month. All the stuff is coming from China. It's all dropship, and people are completely okay with it too. You'll have a lot of interesting products coming out the China markets that you won't like really traditionally see in retail stores here in the USA or anywhere in North America. China on a daily basis is popping out like hundreds of thousands of products that like nobody's even seen or not made it to the USA. So people are very intrigued by the product. They can't really get them anywhere else. They see an ad with our product that we're trying to sell, and they haven't seen it anywhere else. So a lot of stuff we're selling is very impulse purchase, and people actually surprisingly are actually willing to wait for it. But you had like that 5 to 7% that I mentioned that won't be like happy about it, and they'll kind of want refunds and things like that. So or process those refunds for them, or with some a discount code or whatever. But like even on our websites, our frequently asked questions section, we have it in there. A lot of products are custom manufactured, they come from overseas. It might take 4 to 6 weeks to arrive, and surprisingly, like you'd be surprised, a lot of people would be okay with it.
Yeah. And so are you preempting that on the confirmation email? Is there a place in the on the checkout that you're letting them know? Is there anything that you're doing to lower that?
Yeah, so on our product page, we have it specifically stated within the product description. At the bottom, it'll be like a big disclaimer on there about the shipping speed. We'll have on a frequently asked the facts section, frequently asked questions section as well, and then the email that goes out after order is listed on there too. And then also after they make their purchase, there's like a thank you page. So what we've done is we actually create a little video. We put it on a thank you page after they make their purchase, and it tells them like, hey, this is what they expect. So we have a whole like it's a 60-second video of like expectations, how long shipping is going to take. So kind of like sets expectations of when the product is going to arrive.
Awesome, awesome. And so I imagine before you put these products on your page, are you sending ads to products that you've actually uh, held in your hand and tested, or are you just sending it to highly suggested, highly convertible products that you find on AliExpress?
We don't. I would say probably maybe 10%, 5 to 10%. We might actually order ourselves and hold it. That's more for like, hey, I want to take this product. I might want to maybe turn it into like a branded product. A lot of the products, it's just we're dealing with so many different suppliers and sourcing agents that you don't really have time to be like um, taking those products. And like, I mean, there's times we'll launch like 20, 30, 40 products a day. It's impossible for us to like order a sample for all every one of these products and have it shipped to our warehouse or our office or whatever. So a lot of these products kind of have either existing sales volume through some of the spy tools we use, and we see other people selling them too. So we're able to jump on because it's like a trending product based off like some of these tools.
Got it. Yeah. Because I think a lot of times people are afraid that if they're selling a product, that they're going to get a ton of returns. It may be packaged wrong, it may come broken.
Mhm.
How do you deal with that? Are you just doing enough volume that you're okay with returns, or is you doing some type of vetting to make sure that they're a good manufacturer?
Yeah, so yeah, in initial stages of like testing a product, you'll start getting like when you start rank, you'll start getting engagement. Like you'll know right off the bat if people like who are getting receiving the product is not it's like a not good product. But the product you're selling, if a lot of times they'll be on Amazon too, you'll see the reviews on Amazon if this is like a bad product and how many reviews it got. So a lot of times, when we sell a product, we kind of already know that product is decent quality. But the early stages of testing it, you'll usually know based off customer emails and comments on your Facebook ads, people saying about it's a cheap product or whatever. So if it's that scenario, we'll go back and like, maybe stop the ad and kind of talk with our supplier or maybe find a different supplier for that product though. But yeah, we don't scale to high levels. Sending like really bad products, like it just would cause a lot of issues for us.
Got it. Got it. So for people that are just starting, how would they go about finding good products? right? Do you want to start a general store? Do you want to start a specific product only alone? How do they narrow it down? What widgets do you use? Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I would suggest like everybody start with a general store. It just gives you the opportunity to have a lot of different categories and niches of types of products you can test versus single product or niche stores. Those stores will come too eventually, but like I think the best way to your first store should be a general store. And you figure out which product categories are working best for you. So you might find out maybe baby products or beauty products or health products, whatever it is, like are doing awesome for you. So maybe you take that those few products and maybe put it into a single product store or maybe a niche store, and like it's a little more branded. But I think general store is the best way. We use quite a bit of spy tools like AdSpy, DropPoint. Um, there's one called Ali Spy, a couple of tools too, and you basically are able to see almost like sales volume based off of not just AliExpress, but also if there's like competitor Shopify stores, if they're also selling their product and starting to scale it, it's able to pick up their order volume on like a daily basis, and you're able to kind of like also jump on the same product. So we'll have like
Mm.
spy tools. Also, we'll have products where like, hey, it doesn't look like anybody's touched this product. Let us take this product and create a bunch of creatives and see and test it, see if it's gonna take off. Because your products maybe it's gonna kind of, they're kind of scaled out, so maybe you'll get you'll still get sales out of it, but like being like also that person that kind of has like their first movers advantage. Like you're the one that found and nobody else has touched this product, and so like instead of getting breadcrumbs, you're literally able to take the product from like scratch and scale it out to like 6-7 figures or whatever. So we'll have like a mix of like the products other people are running and also a mix of products we're kind of just finding on our own that we think is a cool product. An ideal product is going to have like a cool wow factor, has some type of utility, and solves a problem. You have novelty products that are cool, like one-offs, like, oh, it's a cool novelty product. You might scale it up, but then the novelty products typically die off. The ones that do the best and like are kind of more like evergreen are the ones that solve a problem and has some type of utility.
Yeah. And would you recommend people build their store in WordPress or Shopify, ClickFunnels? What do you recommend?
I'm a big proponent of Shopify. I think it's as far as like e-commerce is concerned, it's the most robust. It has I think some of the best easy like plug and play plugins. Their app market is so robust. So like out of the box, you pay a membership fee. You start with like $30-$40 up to 70-80 to like a more advanced plan, which is like $200 plus. You start off, they give you a bunch of cool themes you can work with. You can hire designers from like Upwork or Fiverr if you don't know how to design a nice store, and they'll build a nice store for you. Then you start. The apps are literally like 1-2 click install, and then literally a matter of kind of installing the apps from like email marketing. You got like apps like Klaviyo, which is awesome for email marketing. Your cart abandonment protector for abandonment, like people who are like abandoning the carts. Obviously they're about to purchase, they don't purchase. Yeah, like pre-purchase upsells, post-purchase upsells. You got things that's like ad roll, like if you want to also advertise across Google, like be targeted across Google and some of the other networks. I mean, you got SMS stuff. So now like you're not only reaching them through ads, you're also reaching them through like like the text messages. So people are like also receiving text messages about your products or services as well too. Then you got Facebook Messenger messages, like bot sequences coming in too. So compared to like WordPress and Wix and Squarespace and Magento and these other ones, I think in my opinion, like Shopify is probably the most robust and easy kind of out of the box solution compared to any other competitors.
For sure, for sure. So for people that are building out their website on Shopify, you mentioned a couple plugins. Can you do a shout out of your 5 favorite plugins? What are something that you're using that have really impacted your business?
Yeah, so Klaviyo for email marketing, it's a email platform just built just for purely e-commerce. So Klaviyo is awesome for email marketing, I would say. Then you have SMS Bump for text message remarketing and marketing. So somebody doesn't buy or is about to buy it, and they get like a discount code on their. I've seen the hardest, biggest ROI I've seen is with the text message remarketing and targeting because a lot of people get distracted. The dog comes in, the wife comes in. they were about to buy something and they get distracted, they don't buy it. So they get a text message reminder. Then they also get an email reminder too. So that those two apps, I would say also Abandonment Protector. It's a car abandonment email app purely just for car abandonment. So like you're about to buy, you don't buy something, they'll remind you like with 3-4 emails within 24 hours to come buy it with a discount code, give you an incentive to come back and buy it. I would say what's another one? Trying to remember. Another one. I have the whole list over here too.
Yeah, well, I know you can probably provide it, and we'll put it in the show notes for anybody else who's wondering about all these plugins. I mean, I've what about the plugin that I've seen for the spinning wheel? Do you currently use
Oh,
that one?
Wheelio, yeah, Wheelio is pretty good. There's another app. I was trying to remember all the. Oh, it's called okay, Vitals. That's another one I recommend. It's called Vitals. So Vitals is an app. It's been I think in the market less than a year. It's a cool app where it takes about 30, 40 different apps and it puts them all under one app. So you pay, I think like 10, 15 bucks or 20 bucks a month, and you get literally access to like 40 different of the best apps all in one app. So I was paying like $600 a month for all these different apps. And then Vitals came along, and I'm like, all these different apps, I literally cut them all out, and I'm using Vitals pretty much because it consolidated the a lot of these other apps. So it's a pretty badass app.
That was awesome. Yeah, I gotta take a look. Okay, so you got the apps installed, you got the banning cart going, you got your ads running, you got a good product, you tested it on Facebook. What are things that people are not aware of that's gonna show up when they're running an e-commerce business?
Yeah. So dropshipping, especially if you want to take the dropshipping model, so Facebook does not like dropshippers, neither does PayPal. So when you're running a dropshipping business, you need to you need to run it as a business, not just a hobby. Meaning like when you're making sure you're taking care of your customer, make sure you're answering emails. So I think another app I would recommend, it didn't like cross my mind. It's called Gorgeous. Gorgeous is a customer service app. It's similar to Zendesk. Zendesk is a little more robust, but Gorgeous is purely for e-commerce. So like having like a nice your customer service CRM set up where customers are able to reach you and get automated responses as far as like tracking your order or things like that too, and then having like maybe a virtual assistant sit there and manage the customer service is, I think it's very like a super key and essential. But yeah, man, just treating it like a real business, setting up systems is super crucial. You're able to get to maybe 6 figures yourself. I think anything past 6 figures, you're going to really spread yourself thin as far as like running ads and fulfilling orders, customer service. Doing a lot of the back end stuff takes quite a bit of time. So building a team, having a customer service people in there, support people, product research people, having a creative team, people like creating video ads for your products, people setting up your product pages. The finances are super important. Like every single day, you should have use the app. Like another good one is called Order Metrics, which kind of I didn't jog my memory a little bit. Order Metrics is a finance app where it tells you exactly how much profit you're making. It takes your sales for the day, it pulls your ad spend from Facebook and puts it into his app, and it basically calculates your minus your ad spend, your product cost, how much profitability you're making. So making sure you're on top of your numbers is super crucial. Otherwise, you can be running ads and losing money after like the ad spend and the product cost. So making sure your numbers are in line.
Yeah. And I think that the one of the important things is when you're looking at those numbers is oftentimes people may not be considering what is the cost per ad, right? And then they're trying to resell a product for $5, but they're spending $10 in ads to get it. So you do have that initial $150 you're spending just to get testing, right?
Mhm.
And hopefully you're going to make some sales out of that.
Right.
But sometimes you won't. So how do you know if you have a good product versus another product? Like some may provide you with a 10% return, some will be a 20% return. So what do you do to keep your eye on these numbers? Because as you said, you're spending 150 per product, right? That you're launching. And sometimes you might have 10 to 20 products that you're launching in a store or testing out. So
Mhm.
do you recommend people to start with just one product at a time if they're at the beginning stages of this business?
Yeah, I think in the beginning, initially, I think one product is more than the stuff. You're trying to get your feet wet and just you don't want to go and start launching like 20, 30 products because after you get to the initial testing phase, you might figure out there's maybe two, three, four, five products that are doing good. So, but you will it'll be a little harder for you to scale every one of those products out at one time unless you have like a massive budget. So using the $250 budget is good to start, but then just scale products out, you're gonna have like probably some like decent credits to be able to put that ad spend on your credit cards and then pay that off because you know product works on a small scale. So I think yeah, one product is good enough to start. If you're become a little more advanced into it, you can start launching like two, three, four, five products at a time. 20, 30, 40, 50 products, you're probably looking at much more ad spend per day. So
So it's 150 per product, and then you're spending that within 2 to 3 day period, you said?
so that's per day, $150. That's a budget per day. You try and see within that budget, get sales or you break even, or even if you lose a little bit of money, it's completely okay. You just want to see if the product has legs. So even if you break even, it's still pretty good because usually in testing phase, majority of the time you're not going to be profitable. You're just literally it's pretty like cold testing. You haven't done any like reach like the warmer audiences yet, so you're pretty much going to be break even or maybe losing a little bit of money. But it's okay because you're acquiring data, and
Yeah.
data will allow you to make decisions if you need to move forward. And
So when you say 150 for how many days is your normal test period?
150 day about 2 days. 150 to $250 a day for about 1 to 2 days. So within, if you're launching like a campaign, I would say probably 200, 250 within 24 hours. Like we'll give you enough data to start off with to see make a decision if you want to continue with that product.
Got it. So, like, I guess for people that are just starting or in limited budget, you hear a lot of these guys say, you could do $5 a day or $20 a day. Have you found that not to be true, or have you found that to be true, but it just takes a lot longer for you to evaluate if it's a correct product?
Yeah, so it's a game of buying data, So you can buy that data over a course of 7 days, or you can buy that data within like 1 to 2 days. So spending $5, I mean, it might take you like a week, to get like enough proper data. CPMs on Facebook, costs on Facebook are rising. So there's more and more advertisers, and there's the more and more advertisers are on a platform, you have the same like ad inventory. So now the ad inventory is taken, and like more advertisers need to put their ads in the ad inventory. So like now your costs are going to go up. So yeah, I mean $5, $10. I mean you're just going to be limited on how much data you're going to buy. So that's why I suggest spending a little bit more upfront. The faster you're able to get the data, faster you're able to make decisions if you need to move to the next stage or not.
Is there ever a time that you completely shut off that campaign if you're spending a ton of money and you're just not getting anywhere close to the click-through rate that you're hoping for?
Yeah, so you have a lot of different metrics you look at. So we do have like rules set up, about 5, 6, 7 rules set up in our Facebook campaigns. Like if the ad set spends this much X amount of money and doesn't give us these type of results, this type of CPC within this ad spend, or this type of click through, or this many purchases, the ad ad set will automatically shut off by itself.
Mm.
So spending your money, it limits the amount of money you're kind of like wasting, because looking at these metrics on an ongoing basis will kind of help prevent that.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love for some of the VIP members, and maybe for another interview we can do where we actually hop into your account and see the high level, because the difference between what you're talking about and when people are starting is all these nuances in the setup, right? Setting up these rules and being able to have the campaign stop itself based off of these metrics. Because what I've seen happen before is people will put their credit card on Facebook. They don't know to set a daily budget. They set a campaign, and they just let it run. So it's very important to keep an eye on this, because otherwise you might end up with a bill at the end of the month for a
Yeah,
couple
yeah,
thousand
yeah.
bucks.
Yeah, man, you really have to monitor ad spend. Facebook would take your money. Like you put your budget in there. Facebook is happy to take your money.
Yeah.
You just have to like literally limit the type of ad spend you do, and then you gotta just like limit your risk. If Facebook's not giving you like back like conversions you're looking for, but then that budget you set, like you gotta be very, very careful. And I think some of the information out there, especially on YouTube, and these guys teaching these methods, or you got running for X amount of days. At the end of the day, it's about the ad spend. If you're spending X amount of money and you're not getting a return out of it, it just you don't want to be like putting more and more money into like that black hole.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Very, very cool stuff. So what would you tell people that what would you do for people that are like currently spending money on their ads and it's just not working? What's the first thing you want to diagnose?
Yeah, so it's all about the metrics. You have to obviously limit your ad spend. If your ad you're running, the campaign you're running, if you're spending X amount of money, and you're not getting, like, for example, at least like probably like a 2x ROAS out of that, it's probably something you want to look at. Like, okay, is it maybe does Facebook go to look at algorithm change? Sometimes Facebook goes to like a periodic algorithm change where it kind of fluctuates and messes up your stats a little bit. So you look at, like, okay, how's the performance today? How's the performance yesterday, last 3 days, and last 7 days, and lifetime? So look at like 3, 4 windows. If you see an ad or campaign that was maybe um, doing well and starting to decline over the last maybe 2, 3 days, is something maybe you want to consider turning off. Like if you see it maybe like, hey, today was like a horrible day. You'll have a campaign doing awesome, all of a sudden today like dipped. So maybe it was just a bad day, and people are like, oh, they freak out and they panic, turn it off. No, sometimes you just have to write it. So maybe reduce your budget for the day, and then like let it ride until the next day, see how it does, and then like kind of bump your budget accordingly. So you just kind of have to write it out. It just kind of depends.
Yeah, that's a challenging thing. So, I mean, with websites, I tell all the clients, if you're running ads, you need to wait till you get at least 1,000 clicks, right? Is there a certain amount, like in e-commerce, of a certain amount of clicks to actually have that idea if this is a good product, or to have a understanding if this is something you want to keep in your store?
Yeah, I would say it's more about the spend more than like just the clicks, because you'll have certain products, there's so many niches, so certain sort of audiences are traditionally going to be more expensive to advertise to. Like, for example, the beauty niche is very competitive. So for you to like get 1,000 clicks on an ad for like that one product, it's gonna take you a lot more money versus like maybe I've seen like DIY or home improvement items or whatever. I've seen like CPMs and like the cost a little bit cheaper. So if you get 1,000 clicks on that, maybe you can get it within like a couple $100. On the beauty side, if you get 1,000 clicks to your website, it might take you like $1,000. So it just kind of depends. It's more about the ad spend. If you're putting money in there and like you're not trying to go into like a big like black hole. You're trying to get a return, at least a break even in the initial like few $100s.
Got it. Got it. Okay, awesome. I mean, these are all like inside things that like you definitely talk about. In your advanced training, and you coach people how to set up their e-commerce store. What would you tell somebody who's watching this podcast or this interview? That's maybe like a little bit defeated. They've tried it, but it's just not working. I mean, like, we can talk about all the successes and everything, but you've had some days that it didn't work. You've had some projects that haven't worked. What are some of the lessons that you gained from them, and how have you came out more resilient? What are the lessons you've learned as an entrepreneur through those?
Yeah, man. Just you can't quit. The moment you decide like this doesn't work and you quit is the moment you like accept the defeats. Um, E-commerce works. It's just like any business, anything out there. It's just like sometimes when your approach didn't work. Also, if you go start listening to like 10 different gurus at one time, this guy's teaching this strategy, this guy's teaching this strategy, this guy's teaching this strategy. What's gonna happen is like you're gonna get information overload, and so it's better to stick to like one person and like learn all their methods, because the system works. It's just like you maybe have to like plug in the right products, continue testing products and make that system work. The system works. It's just some people like try one guru and another guru and then like try this strategy, and like none of them works because they're focusing on too many things. They have like the shiny object syndrome. They try and chase after too many things and like it doesn't work, and all of a sudden it's back and quit. Oh, this business doesn't work. No, the business works. It's just like you're not your stuff, your thought process and your discipline is just so disorganized. You're kind of all over the place. you kind of trying to like chase after so many like, different rabbits all over the place that that's why you're not getting results. So I would say focus on like finding one mentor, finding one coach, focus on them. Obviously, do due diligence, make sure they've had success and they have the numbers to prove their success as well too. So going out, yeah, doing due diligence and just sticking to like having like that one mentor, and then having the resilience. If you have like if you can get an accountability partner, kind of like you and I talked about a little bit, having that accountability partner basically telling you like it's going to be okay, just continue pushing through and persevering, and staying on top of them to kind of help them succeed. Some people like they're coming back to mindset. Some people just don't have that mindset. Sometimes they need a third party to point out like, hey, you're doing the right things. You just need to continue doing them. It's like going to the gym and like for a day you're like, oh, I didn't lose weight today. I didn't get the muscles today. Well, yeah, because you've been in the gym for a day or a week. It takes you like weeks and weeks and weeks, months and months and months of consistent training. Same thing, or doing it in and out that helps you get the results. So people are just not consistent. They want like instant gratification. They want to win the lottery right away. So if you have that mindset, like you're not going to succeed in this business or any other business that's out there.
Yeah. And the thing is, you got to remember, you're building an asset for yourself.
Yes.
This is a business. Like, it takes time and effort, and it takes real focus to do this, right? And for those of you that are currently working like 9 to 5, guess what? That's when mornings come in, that's when nights come in, and that's when weekends come in. Every person that I've interviewed or talked to has put in these hours. And you have to really ask yourself, are you the type of person that's going to work 9 to 5 to just keep going? Or are you going to be willing to work a little bit harder, sacrifice, save money, cut back, eat ramen like you were doing to actually own something of your own? Because you're either building your boss's dream and paying for his vacation, or you're going to be thankful for a week off that you get, right?
Yeah,
And
man. I mean, your boss, your employer, literally, whatever company you work for, they're monetizing your time. So they did all the grunt work of setting up these systems, this business that you're part of, that you're like an employee of. It's like these systems, and they did all the hard work, and they literally went, like, to the failures and ups and downs of the same system. So now you're applying a job at their company, and you're basically given a role. Here's what you need to do: ABC. You work 8 to 5, and you get a paycheck at the end of the week. So you can be in that position, or like you can spend time like, listen, I'm gonna sit there and design my own systems and have the systems. I'm going to fail. I'm going to learn. It's going to be up and down, but at the end of the day, it's my system, something I created. This is my asset. This is my baby, and like something I can walk away and be proud of. So like you choose this. It's like it's like Matrix, right? You choose this pill. You can choose this pill. Yeah. So it's up to you, like which kind of lifestyle you want. You can be the architect of your own life, like design your own blueprint, or you can be a little cog, and be part of somebody else's blueprint and their the life they're building.
Yeah. And you really got to decide which one is it for you. But I'll tell you, once you see that first opt-in, once you see that first sale, and it's actually real, I knew I got goosebumps, and I was like, wow. We look at all these people who are saying that they're doing all these big numbers, but they're not showing you their orders just to impress you, right? They're showing it to you to make you eventually believe it's real. Mm-hmm. Right? And we all take different levels of experience to actually truly understand that and think that we can do that for ourselves. Maybe we think that that other person's special, but you know what? Like, they both have 24 hours in a day. Mm-hmm. It's how effective are you? What are you using your time on? And how are you effectively designing and building your future? Mm-hmm. So for the other entrepreneurs that are on the line here, what does your day look like? What do you do that makes you so effective so you can focus on what's important in your business?
Yeah, man. So in the morning, I wake up around like 6 a.m. I do an hour of reading every day, in the morning and also at night too. In the morning, I do a lot of like personal development stuff. So it kind of gets my mind, either read news or personal development stuff. It kind of gets my mind going. See what's going on in the world. I can only learn about so much stuff. So for me to like go and consuming content, whether it's on my phone or And so before even checking my emails or my e-commerce sales, I want to just get my mind like wired and ready to go. I'll have my coffee too, my double shots, salted cream, cold foam, cold brew drink or whatever, and I'll sit there and I'll just kind of like read about what's going on in the world, whether it's politics, new technologies, new app. Like right now, what's that one app that's out? The big the one where the voice one that's out right now. What's it called? We forgot. Man.
The TikTok one or a different one?
No, the one that is invite only right now. It's been Clubhouse.
Oh,
Clubhouse.
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 Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, it's Clubhouse. So yeah, stuff like that going on there too, and looking at what people are talking about, and so this stuff gives me ideas. So then I spend the next. I look at my emails and I start like working, like contact my team, and we get on like some like daily phone calls, some Zoom calls, figure out what's going on, and some of the projects I'm managing. I'll have my to-do notes. I'll have my stuff like this. That's like on here too. I'll have my post-it notes as well too. Things like 2, 3, 4, 5 things I need to accomplish within a day. So like, and then like actually like working on those things, taking each one of those things, and then having like actionable steps to knock them out, and just checking them off and getting like that dopamine rush. Like, hey, I was able to accomplish this. Gives like a awesome like good feeling. So like I think a lot of people are you're so disorganized, have so much stuff in their head. Get it down on paper. Like get it on paper and cross stuff off. When you cross stuff off, it gives you that sense of satisfaction, like that you accomplished something. Versus just like thinking about it in your head. So the more you think about it in your head, get it down on paper, so like it's out of your head. Because I promise you, like you'll tell me something, and if like a couple hours from there, if it's just in my head, I'll definitely forget about it. If I have it on paper, I have it right here. I'm definitely gonna remember it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, that's the thing is, um, when you're working for yourself, often people think like, oh, I'll start a digital business and then I should be able to take time for myself and, go on vacation. But it's just your business is like a plant. If you don't water it, you don't give it sunshine, you don't give it the right type of nutrients, it's not going to grow, right? It might die or it might not grow as fast as it can. So us as entrepreneurs, that's where the extra hours come in, and that's the difference between an employee mindset and entrepreneur mindset is entrepreneurs are crazy enough to trade, a 40-hour work week for a 60-hour work week, but we're willing to do that because at the end of the day, it's ours. We can
Mhm.
train people, we can grow it. We have ownership in it. That's what's important. And, if you talk to successful people, the 6 o'clock club is a common thing that most people have at the CEO or mid-level or successful individuals, because it gives them that extra hours in the day. While their competition is sleeping, they're working away. And you got to ask yourself, if you aren't doing that, is your competition? And most likely they are.
Mhm.
So what do you have to do to stay competitive? You have to work harder and you have to work smarter, right? You have to be able to surround yourself with people that have the information and skill sets you need to advance your career. And
Mhm.
you need to be part of masterminds and listen to interviews and absorb content so that way you can stay on the top of your game. And that's what we do here at Conversion Icons. We bring you people that are currently doing it, that are making money in the field. And now let's talk about where you're at right now, right? How many stores do you run? What is the total amount of sales? And can you talk a little bit about your lifestyle? Because I'm a little bit jealous when I look at your Instagram, to be honest.
Yeah, man. So I'm constantly looking to set up businesses. For me to get into a business and opportunity, I have to be able to get into it. Whether it's investing, putting either sweat equity in or just money into it. Able to like build it and systemize it and be able to walk away from it and like sleep and it's still like making me money. If I can't do that with a business, I don't want to be part of it, to be honest. So we have a lot of stores. We have about 10 stores running, from general stores to single product stores, some seasonal stores that we only like turn on and turn off when season like Valentine's, for example, is coming up, right? But we'll have like seasonal Valentine's Day stores that are literally every time Valentine's come, there's products on there they crush on these stores. So and then we'll have some like branded stores too. We're working with some influencers on some brands, a makeup brand we're working on. So different things, man. It just everything takes time. You have to give yourself time. You have to give the business time, like kind of what you were saying that the business has a life of its own and you have to nurture it like a baby. especially in initial stages, giving the proper resources as far as, capital and putting the right team and the minds behind it too. So I spent a lot of time learning from other people. People are younger than me, people are older than me. So I'm constantly, figuring out what others are doing in their businesses that's making them successful. And I always am able to pick out gold nuggets because it's impossible for me as a human being, I'm only human, to learn everything in the world. Somebody might be better at, for example, email marketing, or they might be better at SEO, which I know nothing about, but this person knows SEO. I know overall high level SEO is, but like as far as digging into SEO, I don't know much about SEO. So I'll outsource people, So find people in different respective industries, and learning from them, and then taking what they have, implementing into your business is going to help your business like thrive and grow. I also believe in something called like the 33% rule, which means essentially that 33% of the time I'm spending at people at the same level like my peers. So we're kind of learning from each other, bouncing ideas off each other at masterminds, things like that. And then the next 33% are people like they're trying to maybe get to my level, maybe they started a business, maybe they're a couple years behind me and trying to get to my level. So I will give them gold nuggets, help them like pull them up, and then the remaining 30% of the time I'll find people who are like much older and much more successful than me, 5, 10, 15, 20 years ahead of me. And I'll see what they're doing, what made them successful. So they'll maybe mentor and coach me. So you have like your time allocated between these three different areas, the three different 33%. And then you're able to like, based off of that, now you have like, you're actually giving value, you're receiving value, you're providing value. So it kind of makes like, the world go around.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's really why we do this. Like at a certain point, and if you want to talk about the cars and the expensive meals and all the fun you have in travels, I think people would really enjoy the story. And it's really not about that. It's about being able to take care of your mom, take care of your family. It's about being able to have the time freedom that if a relative came into town, that you can spend time with them with it instead of having to go to work,
Mhm.
right? It's a really about the internal things that this business can provide for you. And once you have that, and once you continue to grow, it's about helping people that are a little bit behind you, just as somebody has helped you. We've all learned from other people in the industry, their techniques and their strategies that's taken them years to learn, and they've learned techniques from people that took decades to learn. So today's economy and today's technology is completely different than 5-10 years ago, when this was just a new field.
Mhm.
Right? You can skyrocket somebody's success by simply listening to the right people. Now the question is, are you getting the right advice? Right? And oftentimes there's a lot of people out there who are regurgitating info that they've heard, right? They've not done it themselves.
Mhm.
And it's like when you take a cooking recipe and they forget
Yep.
an ingredient, or they
Right.
tell you use sugar instead of baking soda, right? It's going to change the recipe. So that's why it's very important to learn from people who have the results, can prove it. And unfortunately, we live in a world where we're equating Lambos and Porsches to success. So it doesn't necessarily mean that they could be financially wealthy, but they can have terrible success. And
Mhm.
success for each of us means a different thing. Or they could have just simply rented it, which is often happens. So for you, what is your definition of success?
Yeah, so my definition of success, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head, is definitely be able to provide for my family and provide, not just financially, but like just emotionally. So like money is it's a double-edged sword. It's how you look at it. Money is almost like it's like a gun, right? So you can use money for good. You can use money for like evil, just like a gun. You can use it to protect your family, or you can also use it to obviously do harm on in the world too. So money is the same thing. I think money only amplifies what you already are. So like if when you didn't have any money, whatever you were like then, when you got a lot of money, it's going to amplify shit. So like if you're an asshole, for example, money is just going to make you a bigger one. If you're a person of good character, having money is just going to give you a bigger heart and ability to like give out more to the world too. And I'm a big believer in helping. The more I can get, the more I'm able to give back to the world too, providing value, back to the world too. And I look, for me, like to be able to like like affect other people's lives in a positive way, whether it's maybe connecting them, or providing like maybe capital, or doing whatever it takes to kind of help them cross that bridge. It's just so valuable. So I think money, it frees up a lot of your time. So like if you're like, instead of working 8 to 5 at a job where you're like hoping to get that paycheck, which is just enough for you to pay all your bills, rent and everything, and come back for another paycheck. It's a vicious cycle versus like, having your own business where it's generating money for you all the time. And that the time freedom that you have to be able to like, hey, I want to take 2 weeks off, 3 weeks off, a month off, go spend time in like Bali, or go to like Japan, or go to China and do whatever I want with my friends and family, have it and like not have to worry about like this paycheck. I think it gives you like a sense of like satisfaction versus like being employed and hoping like your employer gives you like those 1 or 2 weeks off PTO that you get per year,
Yeah.
and monetizing all your time. So it's just it's a sense of relief, and it's a sense of like comfort of not knowing that you have to rely on somebody else, for like a paycheck, but also like they're also controlling your time as well.
Absolutely. And when you think about it, inflation rate is anywhere between 3 to 5%, right? And is your salary actually increasing at the rate of inflation? Most people, it isn't. You're lucky. I remember when I was working a job, they were like, "Aren't you so excited? You're getting a 50-cent raise." And I'm like, "No, I'm not." Right. So and some of us are built that way and some are different, and that is an entrepreneurial journey. It's a development of yourself and what you're going through in your business and in your life, and the representation of how much you earn, unfortunately, is a representation of where your mindset and your actions meet.
Hmm.
Right? You can have a great mindset and you can have great hopes and dreams, but if you don't take the action, it's not going to happen. And that is where deliberate focus is so important. And talking to entrepreneurs and learning from people like yourself, what I see is consistent, deliberate, planned action every single day for their business. So it brings me to the next topic. Do you currently use a day planner? How do you schedule your day? How do you make sure you get everything done? Because you're running a ton of stores, and I think people would love to hear about that.
Yeah, yeah. Just coming from an accounting finance background, my mindset is, I would say I'm a little bit more left brain and right brained, a little bit of both. Coming from an accounting finance background, so I'm very like structured and organized and OCD about stuff. And then like when I got to the like internet marketing, digital marketing space, I became more like left brain too. So I got a little more creative. So I'm able to, I use Microsoft OneNote quite a bit. Microsoft OneNote has a lot of my like daily like tasks on there, and then you're able to create little like workbooks for each like your. Let's say you have like store one, store two, maybe trying to invest in a company. So you have these like kind of like big high level like categories, and within each of these high level categories, you have these kind of like tasks, and in each one of those tasks, you have the little subtasks you need to complete. Like at this point, having so many stores, I know like right off the bat, like what needs to be done to build a store. Like, hey, I need to get the domain set up. I need to get the theme set up. I need to get a designer to design the store. I need to get one of my team members to start uploading, 5, 10, 15, 20 products into the store. I need the product pages set up. I need somebody to go in and maybe, set up the Facebook campaigns on there, like the Shell campaigns or whatever. So like everything's very, very methodical. So using Microsoft OneNote helps me structure things a lot. I also use tools like Trello, which is another it's like a project management tool where you're able to take a task and assign it to certain people within the team. So like they're assigned to this task, so they're able to you can literally see the workflow of things as they move from one stage to another. So like as they move, so you know at all times, where's the project at? What level is that? Is the store being complete? Are products ready? Are ads launched? Is a video ready? So just kind of having like your stuff organized. Even something using like those sticky notes and putting sticky notes like on your wall or your computer. Like, hey, I need to knock out these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tasks for today, like high level stuff. So you kind of have those like 4 or 5 tasks at the top of your head. You need to knock those out today. So and I promise you, once you start knocking those tasks off, you're going to get that dopamine rush. I'm a big dopamine person. I like to get that like the dopamine rush, like the fact of like feeling of completing something, getting that workout and finishing that, that email or sending that proposal out or getting that store launched or whatever. That every time you complete one of those tasks, I promise you're gonna get that dopamine rush, that sense of accomplishment, and the sense of accomplishment will give you like momentum into the next task. And like, I promise you, like over time, like you'll become like a happy individual because the fact that you're completing stuff, that constant dopamine rush is going to be very, very crucial.
Absolutely. And that's how you get the success cycle,
Mhm.
right? You accomplish something that builds belief, and belief builds action, and action creates success, and success creates forward momentum. And so that's your goal as an entrepreneur is achieve these little things. Like every day you're working out, every day you're working on your business, set achievable milestones that you can cross off, because oftentimes what I see from entrepreneurs is that they have something big like complete website. Okay, well, let's break that down. All right, you have the homepage, you have the thank you page, you have the order page, you have follow up sequences, right? If you just complete homepage, guess what? Now you're setting yourself up to win, right? And when you do that in a time frame, you're building unconscious commitment to your goals, and you're actually telling your subconscious mind that, guess what, I follow through with what I talk about. So that is a big thing that I see in mindset of entrepreneurs that are just starting, and even at different levels, is that they are setting their goals maybe a little bit too high or too vague. But if they get one very specific, then they will start winning every single day. And once you have more wins, that's when you get more confidence. So I definitely appreciate you being on Conversion Icons. I think we covered a lot of great insight. For those of you that would love to be able to get to know more about how to launch an e-commerce business, or currently are doing it and need some more support, some guidance, somebody to look over their shoulder, tell them what's working, what's not working, and give them that outside perspective that you may not even know you need, how can they get in touch with you? And what other courses and materials you got that you're planning to release that I know you were saying was very interesting?
Yeah. I mean, I'm very super active on Instagram. I started posting a lot of TikTok too. So Instagram, my Instagram handle is Emmon underscore Khan. It's EMMON_KHAN. I post a lot of content on there. I do a lot of vlogs on there. I had a lot of people send me DMs on there. I'm very, very interactive. I respond to everybody's questions. So Instagram would be good. Facebook, Emmon Khan as well too. And then started posting a decent amount on TikTok as well. I'm working on a full A to Z e-commerce course right now. It is, pending, it's in process. It's going to take a little while to build. It's a lot of content. Looking at about 60 to 80 hours of content in there. So I'm trying to do a whole full like A to Z model. Um, Also going to a studio and trying to get some professional like kind of high level content recording as well too. So it's gonna take a little while to build and editing and everything like that too. So once that's released, definitely let people know about it.
Yeah, that's terrific. When is the course expected?
It's going to be let me see. So like I'll probably say by because all my projects that are going on, probably by I want to say like March, probably mid-March, I'm probably gonna release that to do some like start up promoting it a little bit, but probably around a March time frame.
Awesome. Well, we're looking forward to your release of your new course, and anything that we can do to help support it. Let us know. Any people that are VIPs of Conversion Icon, we might have some special bonuses for the course once it's launched. And once again, give us your Instagram handle and the best place for them to reach you at.
Yeah, so Instagram handle is Emmon Khan, which is EMMON_KHAN. Super interactive on there. Go on there and engage, leave comments, your thoughts on my videos I post. I want to hear from everybody. I appreciate feedback, and I love to engage with my audience.
Awesome. Awesome. Once again, this is Alan Kotlyar from Conversion Icons. Thanks for joining us today. Hope you enjoyed these lessons from an e-commerce person that is doing big, big stuff. You can do it too. It's totally possible. Hopefully his story inspired you to continue going no matter where you're at, continue scaling up your ads. And if you need anything else from the VIP community of Conversion Icon, reach out to us on Facebook, facebook.com/conversion icon. Till the next interview, see you then.
Thanks, Alan.